Welcome to Journeys and Journals. Today, music's our thing. We're going to hear about Music Man. This is going to be fun. We're out west. Well, how far west do we go? My guest is
Allan Wythcerley.
Allan, welcome to Better Life Television. You brought this beautiful instrument. Well, you brought more instruments.
Yeah, harmonica and the guitar.
How do they all fit in with your life?
Well, we go to the rest home quite often. Once a month now, me and Rosemary. And we usually play the guitar and sing. Then we get tired of singing and I play the harmonica. And if somebody's around that plays guitar, then I like to play the mandolin because it don't sound that good all by itself.
Well, let's meet Rosemary. This is your bride of how many months?
Almost 3 months.
When he's already painted this incredible. This is not painting.
It's wood burning.
Oh, I haven't heard that term since my brother was a little fella.
Yeah.
And it was because of my brother Henry that he said, "You gotta meet this guy."
Yeah, I delivered him some compost, and half the time when I deliver something, I wind up playing my tune on my harmonica.
Ooh,
And
that's what you brought here.
yeah.
Tiny little harmonica. This isn't the first one you've ever had.
No, I guess I started when I was about 18 years old. My uncle that couldn't read taught me how to play.
And how was it that Uncle couldn't read?
I guess he just didn't go to school, I think.
Where was the family from?
New Mexico.
And probably schools weren't just around the corner with school buses there to take you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the reason was, but I think he just didn't make it to school.
Your family had some tough times, right? Your work,
Yeah.
what was the work they did there?
Well, my family, the things I remember, it was in Arizona, and that was about, I was about 9 years old. And my dad, part of the time he picked cotton with him and Mom, and part of the time he had a pretty good job.
Well, now, did you go to the fields with Mom and Dad? And
No, I got a job at a dairy.
when you're how old?
Well, I was probably 10 or 11 when I started working at the dairy.
When I hear stories like that, I just marvel, because young people learn to work hard, and you've worked hard all your life, right?
Yeah, I'm thankful that I had that training.
This is where I found him, his work story for the U.S. Army, right?
Right.
What were you doing here?
We were training there for the 4.2 mortar, and then later after we went overseas, it was in 1953, and went to Germany, and that I was in a 4.2 mortar company.
Well, now, those are pretty big. How much did that weigh?
The barrel itself is, I don't remember for sure, but I think it's over 160 pounds.
You've got a story about a barrel here. What is it?
Shall I tell that?
Yeah, please do.
Well, we were sitting around and talking about it takes 2 people to carry every piece of that mortar, except 1 or 2 little light pieces. And so I bragged that I can pick up any part of that and carry it a mile. And
Oh, look at that smile.
so first thing you know, we
That's
had
boasting.
a bet. Yeah, I've been known to brag a little bit. Had a bet going whether I could do it or not. And so we picked out a route for me to go. We figured it'd be a mile. And so I took off with it and on the way they played taps, you know, where you got to stop and salute. So I stopped and did that.
Were you still carrying that?
Yeah, I had it on my shoulders the whole time, and I'd duck my head and bump it over to the other side.
And salute.
Yeah.
That's too much. Well,
Uh,
why don't you introduce us to the gal next to you?
This is Rosemary. I sort of prayed to meet a lady that likes to sing and that loves me, and she does.
Rosemary, where are you from?
I'm from upstate New York, up in the Adirondacks.
Uh-huh. But that didn't, with one stop you got to Oregon?
No. I spent 3 years in Kansas at Ottawa University, and my roommate was from South Dakota. And my first husband was from South Dakota, and I met him in New York State in the Air Force. Sorry, honey. And we married in '61, and we headed for Oregon because his family was out here, and he always loved Oregon. Got here in '61, and there were no jobs. The mills were closed, and we ended up going to Alaska and lived there for 30 years and retired back here.
Oh, the better part here.
Right.
Lots of folks out there came west looking for a better life. It looks like you found it. This is the artwork that he did for you. I go where you go, honey. Now, where's that line come from?
That's what she told me, and it inspired me to draw that picture.
Okay, now you're both on the horse.
And
Now she's carrying,
she's got the pole reaching out over the horse with a little bit of hay, and
to keep the horse going.
right in front of me is a hamburger to keep me going.
Hey, that's great. So you put in New York and you put beyond that and then together.
Timbuktu, yeah.
Well, stay around here. Now, when you first came to Oregon, you lived where?
Talent. And then I worked at another dairy there while I was going to school. And there's a picture of there's not much of a picture. All you can see is the front wheel of my car.
Because this is the family that was going west, is that right?
Yeah,
There's,
this is me when I was just
okay.
4 or 5 years old.
And you're doing what there? This one looks like Tough Times.
Yeah, that was in Rhodey, New Mexico. And
Your dad was doing field work?
he worked for the city there. He'd turn on fire hydrants and, drain them all the different fire hydrants.
Who's this lady?
It's my mom.
Oh, folks, look at that car. That is just, you remember that car?
No, that was actually probably before I was born.
Oh-ho.
And I think she was just first married there or something.
Well, now the little boys are a bit bigger. What's this? There's a baby.
Yeah, I'm the second boy from the right there, and then my older brother, Raymond, and Martin, and Doris, and then the baby is Ruth.
Well, these pictures are fascinating. You brought this one. I don't know if that's where you lived.
Yeah, that's what we were standing in front of there.
I mean, it's adobe.
Yeah.
It's just a mud walled house.
Dirt floor. I can remember one night my brother and I decided we was going to be elves, and was going to sweep the floor after Mom and Dad went to sleep. And so, being a dirt floor, was making all kinds of dust. And
You were just helping Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
You'd seen it. Oh man.
Dad woke up and asked what we was doing, and we told him, and
Cleaning
he
house.
complimented us, but asked if we'd wait till tomorrow.
Oh, what a smart dad. This is Mom with the new baby, huh?
Yeah.
You've done a whole lot of stuff Oh, this is a military truck. What's that one about?
This is what we came to Oregon in.
Now, is that a World War I truck?
It's a 1931 Chevy. It just looked like an Army truck because it had the canvas over it.
And so,
And
where'd you ride?
in the back,
Along with what?
behind the cab, Dad fixed a bench across the front there, and we could sit back there and watch as we went down the road. And
So you weren't in the back of the Army truck?
yeah, we were in back of there, and
Because my friend had told me the story about when they came out in Grapes of Wrath during the tough times. They had a Davino right on the back of the big truck. And the children would get turns to sit on the back and wave at people as
Yeah.
they came across Arizona. And they got to the California border and they weren't real happy to let them in. I don't know if you suffered some of that same.
no, it wasn't that hard a time for us. But we did, go with the grape picking and that kind of stuff.
Well, now, if you tell me, now this was home
Yeah, it
and
was.
things weren't that tough? Does
Well,
this home
That was in Oregon.
Yeah, this is when we first got over to Grants Pass, Oregon. That's on Greens Creek Road there. And,
Oh, Lord
Mom
have
and Dad
mercy.
built that?
yeah, Mom and Dad built it, and that's probably about when wasn't long till I went in the Army, I guess, after that. And I went in '53.
You know, you brought all these toys here. Well, they're not toys. They're really. What do you do with music?
Shall I play you a tune on the harmonica?
I love it. We probably.
This is the first tune I learned.
We may have to. Can't believe all that sound comes. This is no bigger than the palm of my hand. You're a genius.
Oh, thank you.
And you said you go to nursing homes?
Yeah, we've been going there for about. My first wife and I was going there. It started out as a church project, but after a while, it was just me and my wife.
These folks are given to the community, giving back, and that's what I'm so excited about.
And we've been going there for about 30 years, and then after Jean, my first wife, passed away, well, Betty, my second wife, took up the job with me, and we kept doing it until she passed away. We were married about 3 years or a little more. And then Rosemary and I have been continuing it on. And
Oh, Rosemary, when he proposed, do you like music?
Oh,
Shall we
yes.
get married? I've got wedding pictures here, and they are so cute. Because your wedding was real. This one
Fun.
I have to just share. It has gun and all. You
yeah,
guys
I had
had.
2 shotguns in the wedding.
Are
Right.
those family members? Is that beard for real?
Yeah, any beard you see is for real.
None of those paste-on beards.
That's my son and grandson with the shotguns.
And the women folk are your family?
My oldest daughter and my oldest granddaughter that was here.
And the 2 little precious girls.
Those are
Great-
great granddaughters, and the ring bearer was a great-grandson, and we forgot to tell him. He did his job very well, but we forgot to tell him that at some point he was going to have to give up the rings, and all we told him was how to carry it and where he was to go. And he about cried when the pastor tried to take the rings off the pillow. We had to tell him it was okay.
Oh, and that is family? I mean,
Yeah.
folks, you've really put the two of you together, and how many kinfolk do you have?
He had
Right.
7 children, and we had 7 children.
And they
And,
all had a bunch.
We've got about 15 grandchildren apiece, and I don't know how many great-grands
Oh,
all
Christmas
together.
sounds like fun at your place.
Lovely
Now,
family.
now, this is at the reception, and looks like you were serenading your bride.
Yes, we sang, actually, I sang one to her and we sang one together.
Well, what was the song you two sang together?
Shirley.
Surely,
Yep.
surely
song.
I'm falling.
In love with you.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, the cake, you had everything here. What about this family? What did they think of you finding this Alaskan girl?
Well, they were really, we wanted to take her around and meet everybody, and she wanted me to meet everybody on her side too.
That took a year.
And we got the okay from everybody.
Great. Now, you've brought treasures here, and I just love this wagon. Where could I buy one of those?
Well, to tell you the truth, they're not for sale. But
Oh, where'd
we
it
started
come?
doing that because there were so many birthdays. We was going to save money and make something. But it took so long to make them that we hated to part with them. But we did give several of them around the family for birthdays and stuff.
Pioneer spirit. I mean, this guy's got it.
Some
Yeah.
of them we made into covered wagons, you know, with the bows over the top. And then we made some stagecoaches.
Oh. Now, this wagon, even the wood looks vintage, is it?
Yeah, it's probably been 20 years since we made it.
Oh, but it doesn't look like it was new wood then. I think it came out of somebody's recycle pile, let's call it.
Made the wheels.
Yeah, we made the wheels.
Oh, you did?
We made our own mold, I guess you'd say, out of different things, and had
Was
it
it
where we
pour?
could- No, it didn't pour them, but we had 1/4-inch square stalk, I guess you call it. It was in a big long thing, and then we figured out how long it had to be to make the different size wheels. And then we had something that would bend it around and then weld it together.
This sounds like pioneering spirit. They had to do the same, didn't they?
Yeah.
We've got one more picture that you brought for us, and it's too good to be true. Oh, who's the guy peeking out here?
That's my dad.
He was a little bit camera shy, huh?
Well, that day he had a little bit of, a couple of drinks.
Oh, okay. Okay, that might have made a little
Yeah.
difference. Now, I understand that you have made beautiful music together.
Yeah,
So
we-
you both came loving music.
Yeah.
And why don't you just hum a few bars of whatever you've got here to sing for us? You,
Shall I do it with the guitar or?
well, we'll see if that works just fine. I know that it seems like a shame to have all these musical instruments and not
We got a little short song.
campfire music here, huh?
Let me be a little kinder, let me be a little blinder to the faults of those about me. Let me praise a little more. Let me be, when I am weary, just a little bit more cheery. Let me serve a little better those that I am striving for. Let me be a little braver when temptations bid me waver. Let me strive a little harder to be all that I should be. Let me be a little meeker with a brother that is weaker. Let me think more of my neighbor and a little less of me.
Oh, folks, I'd say this marriage, it makes a beautiful duet.
Thank you.
And you
Thank you.
checked that out, right?
Yeah.
You checked out your music.
Yeah, that's one of the first date. Well, I brought my guitar and we sang, and I thought, boy, this is okay. She likes to sing.
You know, the wood carving, the wood burning that I showed you earlier, they brought this one, and I thought it fit in with that song perfectly. Why don't you tell me?
Oh,
It's a real pleasure.
being hitched up with you.
Ah, and I've noticed, folks, I don't know if you did too, but they were sitting here holding hands before the guitar song. What would you say about, oh my goodness, there's a picture
Oh.
I hadn't seen. Who's
That's
that
my
one?
dad. That's kind of probably in his earlier years.
And this, now the vehicle you told us about this, what looked like an old army truck that you came out west,
Yeah.
but what is that?
That's one about like it, but this was a smaller thing. But when we were traveling to go pick grapes and one thing and another, we had the bigger truck.
Well, it looks like, and you just sort of rode along in the back?
Yeah, it was just like an army truck, and
Oh my goodness, folks, this is something else. Tough times, what have they done for you?
well, in one way, I'm glad we had them, because it made me know that I couldn't just get myself in debt and go to Dad and get bailed out. And
No, that wasn't going to work.
no.
Not in your, so from the time you were 9 years old, you were earning your keep?
Yeah, I'd say so.
But
When
when you and your brother decided to help clean house, how old do you think you were then?
there was probably 5 or 6.
Oh, folks, it's been a long time since I heard of a 5-year-old getting up and helping clean house, even if it was the wrong way. Oh, I love your story. I look at these houses and I think they look like, well, we used to call them hop picking houses, but I
Yeah.
guess you'd call them sharecropper houses, or this.
Yeah, I think so.
So you'd
Yeah.
go to work and they'd have a little place for you.
Yeah.
Is this the bride?
It's your mom.
Yeah, that's my mom.
Oh, a young woman,
Yeah.
long before those, how many children in your family?
5.
Long before those 5 babies came along. You know, if you could leave a message with these people that are watching you right now, what would you like to tell them about tough times and good times?
Well, nowadays, Well, in fact, with my first wife, you know, we used to worry about getting our money, and, you know, we was self-employed most of the time, and I'd be worried about getting money from somebody that owed us for a long time, and she'd say, it's the Lord that supplies our needs and not them, so I'd quit worrying.
Oh, wonderful. And what about you? With 7 little kids to feed in Alaska and all that?
Learned a lot. Learned a lot.
Oh,
And
haven't
family is family, and the family love is so important.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful message to leave us with. We do indeed are so privileged to pass it on to the next generation because they passed it on to us, didn't they?
Yeah.
What's the story on that car?
It's I think it's a Studebaker or something. I forget exactly.
Oh,
but
that would be nice.
that's one of the ones that I owned, and
Well, if you had it now, you know it'd be worth a fortune.
we used to like to drive these quads, and
Still do
that's my
like
second wife right there.
Oh,
And there's
a
good
matched pair of
Yeah.
quads even, his and hers. Pink, I
one
was going to
minute
say pink
left.
and blue, but not
Yeah.
exactly.
Still like to do quads.
Yeah.
Oh, you do too?
Yeah.
Well, take it easy. Let me I'm so glad you could come and be with us, and thank you for bringing all these gorgeous instruments
Oh, you're welcome.
and making music for us here on Better Life Television. I'm Bernie Martin Beck saying, keep the music coming, keep smiling. There's a good times a coming just around the corner. You proved it, didn't you?
I think so.
I saw them holding hands, so I know the good times are here.
Yeah.
Still having fun.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'm plumb blessed.
Plum blessed. I haven't heard that before.
We put that up on our sign when we was getting married, that we're plumb blessed.
With that, I'll say goodbye.
Okay.
Thanks again, folks, for tuning in.